My 31 male, partner of 11 years, Sarah, 32, was in a car accident 3 years ago, leading to her having scars across her torso, left arm, and jaw. She's been hiding them with makeup, but you could still feel them and made her very self-conscious. We had talked about her having them removed before we got married, as she admitted she wanted to put off getting married due to them. At Christmas of 2019, I got an unexpected bonus from work. As we already had a substantial amount set aside for a wedding, I suggested we use the bonus to pay for plastic surgery. This went ahead, and Sarah is now much happier with how she looks. She still wears a bit of makeup to hide a few small lines from the plastic surgery. However, they will fade to white with time and be less noticeable. Currently, they're still quite pink. We have been planning our wedding in October. She recently went dress shopping with my mother, her mother, and her sister. My mother saw the scars at the shop and inquired about why they look so different from her original scars. Sarah explained about the plastic surgery, and then my mother didn't mention it again, so we didn't think it was a big deal. Until yesterday, when I was at my parents' discussing the business Dad and I co-own, and she butted in telling me it was immoral to marry someone as indecent as Sarah and that it was disgusting that she had plastic surgery, etc., etc., etc. There was a massive argument, and I told her that if she was gonna talk about Sarah like that, then she wasn't invited to the wedding. At which point, she broke down in tears and I left. Now half my family is angry with me for uninviting and upsetting her. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. Why isn't your family upset at your mother for saying some truly awful things about the woman you're about to marry? I think this person is disgusting, but I'm still invited to the wedding. Right. Just no self-awareness. Not the idiot. Regardless of why your fiancé got plastic surgery, your mom's comments were disgusting even if it was a boob job. If she feels the person you're marrying is so disgusting and immoral, why would she even want to be at the wedding? You did the right thing on inviting her. Stick to your guns unless she comes back with a sincere apology and can keep her future toxic thoughts to herself. Honestly, she was out of line even for asking about the different appearances of her scars. It should have occurred to her that perhaps medical things were on the move, and she should mind her own business. She probably doesn't want to be at the wedding. She probably expected OP to go, you know, you're right, and call it off on the spot. The only reason she's upset about being uninvited is that she still thinks there's a chance and wants to still be involved to try and make that happen. I bet these folks only heard the story from Mama, and they just started saying nasty crap without checking to see if it was true. I imagine once the real story goes out, most people will call Mom out on her terrible, terrible behavior. Big old fake crocodile tears, tears. I mean, they must be because your mother is clearly heartless. Who on God's green earth thinks that someone who gets plastic surgery to get rid of scars is an immoral person? I guess I missed that day at Sunday school. Not the idiot. And oh my goodness. What a terrible thing to think, say, and do. I don't even get where your mother was coming from on this issue. Plastic surgery to fix scarring from an accident was indecent. Just what? You did what you did for your future wife's peace of mind. She's happier. You're happier that she's happier. That you then stood up to your mother was just a bonus in my opinion. So no. Not the idiot. Your mother has some weird ideas about what she finds decent and acceptable. That's her problem, not yours. This happened back in Easter, but I'm still getting some mixed reactions on it. I work with a guy we'll call Charles. Charles is a great co-worker and started with us about 2 months before Easter. I got to know him, found out our kids go to the same school, and our wives get along. Now I'll admit that Charles sounds a bit feminine, a bit of a soft voice, and has some feminine mannerisms. He told me that he has 4 older sisters, so understandable. Now Betty was convinced from the day Charles was hired that he's gay. Anytime he's around, she makes small comments about him or says things like, I can just sense things like this, or no straight man walks around like that, whatever that means. Despite me telling her he has a wife and kids, she refused to believe me. Our company decided to host a party, Easter egg hunt for Easter, since global issue restrictions in our area were being lifted. It was a nice time to get out of the house, enjoy some burgers, and the kids could have fun. Charles came with his wife and 2 kids. I've met his wife many times. Betty had not. We're chatting when Betty comes over. I don't remember exactly how the conversation went, but it was something like this. We exchanged the usual hi, hello, and it's such a nice day out. Betty, so where are your kids? I haven't met them yet. Charles, oh, they're in the bounce house. They're having a great time. Betty, and what about your partner? Is he here? Charles, what are you talking about? Betty, there's no need to be ashamed of who you are, Charles. We're very accepting. Charles looked like he finally got what she was getting at. I'm not gay, Betty. Betty, sure you are hung. Look, don't hide it. I won't judge you for it. In fact, my brother is gay and he's here if you would like for me to introduce you. Just then, Charles's wife came over. Betty's face turned white when he introduced her as his wife. Apparently, she had seen them come into the party together, but thought his wife was the nanny. She went off to sulk. Later, she pulled me aside and told me I didn't have to let her embarrass herself like that. I could have said something, and now she won't be able to show her face to Charles again. I said it wasn't my problem. Charles doesn't think I'm an idiot, nor did my wife. She got a good laugh out of it. Betty told other co-workers and some were on my side while a few were on hers. They think I could have made a joke or just stopped the conversation so Betty didn't have egg on her face. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You already told Betty that Charles had a wife and kids. If she chose not to believe you, even going so far as to think his wife was his kid's nanny, then that's her fault. You aren't responsible for anyone else's stupidity. And if Charles were gay, Betty didn't need to come in like a presumptuous charging rhino because he could have not wanted to come out just yet or not being comfortable discussing personal things with her. Not the idiot. I don't really know what you could have done. But more to the point, anyone who responds to I'm not gay with sure you are doesn't need any help embarrassing herself. LOL. Who even does that to someone? Even if you hadn't talked to her before about Charles, you just don't do that to someone. At my job, you probably get fired or at the very least a stern talking to depending on how Charles took it. Betty is an adult and needs to learn how to act like one even if that means learning the hard way. Not the idiot. Your coworker is a complete idiot for assuming someone's sexuality, then doubling down after you blatantly told her Charles had a wife and family. What if he was gay and she ousted him during a company get-together? She needs to mind her own business, and she deserves to feel ashamed for this. She's just trying to blame you because she can't accept that she's in the wrong here. Plus, you already told her he was straight, which was none of her business anyway. I am 20 female. My niece, sister's daughter is a toddler, and my sister is 24. Before anyone asks if the father is in the picture, we honestly don't know because she didn't want to talk much about it. There was a period after a failed engagement, her fiancé called it off and broke up with her that she was engaging with Tinder online dating. She says she knows she didn't have the best actions, but was trying to heal from being dumped. So she's been raising her daughter alone and sometimes with the help of her online dating updates. Because of that, due to global situation struggles, she asked me if I could babysit for her. Sometimes, it would be while she went to work or went to meet a date. She used to bring them to her place, but she said she couldn't care for the baby while enjoying her date and time with her matches. I enjoyed spending time with my niece until she began to be awful with time management. After some point, when I began babysitting, there are days I came to work late or didn't go to work at all because she showed up hours late or just never showed. She called me when it was too late for me to go to work that she got caught up with her date and decided to stay at his place, so I'd have to stay with my niece for her safety since she can't be alone. At this point, it's literally affecting my college courses and work. I can't keep being late because she once decided to go on a spontaneous last-minute lunch date or got caught up at his place and never let me know. I try to be nice about it because I know she's hurting from her failed engagement, but I don't want to keep risking my education and career. I also can't keep relying on others for help, like contacting our parents to take over a few times because I can't just not go to work since she wouldn't come back to her daughter. My sister is now upset that she won't have a dating life and is mad at me. I told her I wouldn't be able to keep doing this anymore. Am I the idiot for not babysitting for my sister until she's more reliable? Not the idiot. Your sister flaked and prioritized random men over being a good mother and caring for her daughter. Like, what in the world? Who dumps their kid onto someone else while they go off to have fun and not care about their kid at all? She's costing you your own education and finances, and it will be difficult whatever happens next. Still, you can't keep putting her bad actions over your important priorities. 100% this. With all due respect, OP, your sister seems to care more about having intimacy than her daughter. You're a good person for not having called the police the first time she bailed and left you as a babysitter, not the idiot. First of all, your sister is suffering from some self-esteem issues. After the failed engagement, she's engaging in some very destructive behavior. Men she barely knows are coming in and out of her daughter's life on a whim. That is not healthy for anyone. I'll be blunt here. She doesn't really know the men she's introducing to her daughter. Your sister is manipulative. She's guilt-tripping you using the, "I'm a poor single mother and want a little bit of happiness. Please watch my child because I'm so lonely and it's so hard for me. Don't fall for it anymore." Not the idiot. I would consider calling CPS. Her bringing random Tinder dates around her infant daughter is terrifying. Your sister needs help, and it doesn't sound like she's in the right mental state to be a parent right now. You may want to discuss with your parents about taking temporary custody. Yes. I was thinking the same. The story doesn't read right either to me. I'm worried that the sister might be doing meds and using dating as a cover story. OP, please stay on the lookout for your niece, but you are definitely not the idiot. My daughter is 18 years old and struggles with many mental and physical health problems. Most days, she needs my help preparing simple meals for herself because of severe executive dysfunction. Ever since she was a child, she was adamant that when she had kids, she would adopt. But in recent years, she's changed her stance from adoption to not having children at all. Both my mother and my wife have severe mental illness, and they were both incredibly neglectful. She sees how we both resent our mothers, just something that she picked up as she got older, and began to self-evaluate. Eventually, she concluded that some people simply aren't fit to parent and that she's one of them. She's not upset about this. She's gay and says that she feels free from the expectations of having a nuclear family because of it. I told her that in all honesty, I think she's right. I said that might change as she grows older, but if she remains as she is now, I don't think she'd be able to take care of another human life on top of her own. She seemed happy to have her opinion validated. I thought all was well until my wife came to me in tears over what I'd said. She demanded I apologize to my daughter and take it back because I was stigmatizing her illness to her and limiting her future. I don't see it like that. My daughter is young, but she's an adult. She's had this opinion for 2 years now. And being the child of a mother who wasn't fit for the role, I'm incredibly proud of my daughter for being able to reflect on herself like that. I'm open to being the idiot here. I just want to know if I messed up by agreeing with her. If I need to take it back, I will. The last thing I want is to hurt her. Not the idiot. Some people are not able to be parents for whatever reason. It's much better that she recognizes it and goes on to lead a happy and healthy life rather than mess up a child's life. There are many ways she can bring joy to a child's life without being their parent. Not the idiot. Your wife isn't thinking about what your daughter needs. I think she's making this about herself. As a mom, it's validating to hear that your daughter wants to be a mom too. It feels good to hear that your kid wants to be like you. I think she's taking it personally that your daughter doesn't want to be a mom. You did an excellent job of listening to your daughter and recognizing her as an adult. However, now that your wife has turned this into a big deal, I would check in with your daughter and make sure she's still good. She might have felt hurt about it later on after reflecting. Also, her mom may have talked her into feeling hurt about it. Yeah. Even if she wanted kids eventually, I feel like most 18-year-olds aren't prepared to take care of a kid. Supporting her thoughts and decisions while also leaving things open if she does change her mind in the future is a great way to handle it. Plus, some people aren't really cut out to be parents, and realizing that before having kids is better all around. I know I couldn't handle an infant. Not the idiot. You did nothing wrong as people have noted. But the truth can still hurt, especially when it's about such a massive part of life, and so I can also understand your wife's gut reaction. For some people, parenthood is perceived as the single most important part of their life. So to hear that you'd written it off for your daughter, no matter how justified the agreement was, could seem hurtful. I'd hope that she cools down once the first emotional wave passes, though. My husband, 34, and I, 31 female, have been married for 4.5 years. In the spring of 2018, we took a 2-month-long trip to Europe and Africa, where we stayed in London, Barcelona, and Marrakesh. It was a great time for both of us. And since then, we've always wanted to make another long trip like that. So this morning, my husband wakes me up at 7 a.m. with a gift. At this point, I'm a little annoyed because we've both gone to bed at 1 a.m., and I wanted to sleep in. So I opened the gift, which is an envelope, and inside are plane tickets from our home airport to London dated 04/2938. I mean, a little strange, but okay. Then he drags me into the kitchen where I see he's prepared a Spanish-style breakfast for me, which I thought was really sweet of him. He told me that since today was the day we left on our big trip and haven't been able to travel for a year, he wanted to do something special for me to commemorate. I mean, overall, it was a really nice gesture even if I was sleep deprived. Our day then goes on as normal. We both work from home. Around noon, I go into the kitchen to make some lunch for myself, and my husband comes in and says, "So I'm guessing you didn't get me anything." At this point, I'm pretty confused. So I'm like, "Get you anything for what?" Then he gets this exasperated look on his face and says, "Our vacation anniversary." I didn't know if this was a joke or not because we've literally never celebrated this vacation anniversary before despite it technically occurring already 2 times in 2019 and 2020. So I laugh at it and tell him, maybe next year I will. He didn't appreciate the joke. He told me that our vacation was more significant than our wedding and that it hurt him that I didn't remember. I apologized to him, but he still got an attitude. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is not a yearly event you guys celebrate. You had no way of knowing he was planning to make a big deal about it this year. Can't your husband just do something sweet for you without expecting something in return? A vacation anniversary is a new one to me. Did he say why he considers your vacation more significant than your wedding? I mean, personally, I've never heard of such a thing. So I don't see how you could be an idiot for not remembering to celebrate something you two have never celebrated before. Not the idiot. I mean, how were you supposed to magically know that this was the year to celebrate? You can't be in the wrong for something you didn't know was a thing. Also, I'm pretty bummed with your husband. That was kind of a cute thing he did, and it could have been a great day. But he had to ruin it by getting pissy with you. Ugh. Not the idiot. He's breaking social and marital norms by inventing such a thing as a vacation anniversary. He can't then get mad at you for not knowing about this thing you just made up. If it was so important to him, why didn't he celebrate it the last couple of years? If I texted my husband to say, "Happy anniversary of the day we closed on the house we bought 2 years ago, where's my present?" He'd think I was joking too. This is not a thing. Under no circumstances would anybody reasonable think this is a thing. Either your husband is having a mental health issue or he's trying to make you think you're insane or drive you crazy, so you leave him or something because this story is bizarre. Equally bizarre that you think you might be judged the idiot.